soul. I love all humanity. Join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony.
Henderson.
Welcome, everybody. So happy to be connecting with you today. The team is right on it. I made my face visible and like, he's here. And then you got to be on the spot. You got to be ready to go. So great to see you. I've noticed all of the names that are here, and I'm happy to say I know everyone. And now is a great opportunity because I'm going to kind of ad lib for about 5 minutes so that you can grab one of your friends, because everybody needs some assistance with shifting their consciousness around finances and wealth. And I'm going to share with you some tidbits today that will include the right state of mind to have, how we can get out of those states of minds that we would prefer to have, and what you can do to get yourself back in, as well as how to use Master Sha's Tao calligraphies effectively, and specifically which ones to use. Okay, it might be different than you think. So do reach out now, offering the link that you used to come here to others that you care about, because like I said, everyone needs this. And it's not that they might not be able to get to it on a recording, but you know how it goes. How many times have you had the desire to get something on recording and never actually did, right? So it's better for them to be here live. For those of you that are not familiar, my name is Paul Fletcher. I'm blessed to be one of Master Sha's master teachers. I started with Dr. and Master Sha roughly 16 or so years ago. I have to kind of add a year every once in a while. It could be 17 years at this point. And it has been the single wisest choice in my life. Dr. and Master Sha, for those of you that might be watching this on recording, because as far as I can tell, everyone here knows who he is a extraordinary being. He started out as in terms of validation of who he is, he started out as a Western medical doctor, being trained as one of the few Western medical doctors in China for the time and year that he was training. And then he realized that it had some limitations, got his Eastern medical doctor, traditional Chinese medicine degrees. So he now had a doctorate in both. And then since the age of 5, had started training with Qigong masters and Tai Chi masters, and later on in life, Feng Shui masters, I Ching masters. He became a Tao Calligraphy grandmaster, has been recognized at the highest levels in China as one of the calligraphy grandmasters. And that's kind of like, if you were to compare that in America, that's kind of like being, the top musical artist, because in China, calligraphy is that important. And in this case, you see the calligraphies behind me. We'll be talking about those, again, for anybody new, and their relevance for assisting you in transforming whatever might be inhibiting your ability to have more finances. I apologize in advance if occasionally I clear my throat without hitting the mute button. I'm trying to become much better at that. And so what are we going to be working on today? Well, I want to move the verbiage from work to fun, because one of the things I personally have come to realize in my own journey of the allowance of abundance is too much seriousness. And so we all in general have heard it's important to envision what goal we want. It's important to hold that intention in our mind and in our thoughts. And we might do that for 10, maybe even 20 minutes in a singular day. But what happens during the rest of the day, right? We tend to get overwhelmed with emotions, overwhelmed with experiences, overwhelmed with responsibilities and things that we, quote, have to do. And that takes us out of the ideal and optimal consciousness that we need to sustain. And so I'm going to be talking about that today as well, how we can place ourselves in a moment-to-moment state of consciousness, and how to apply Master Sha's wisdom and techniques throughout the day on an individual practice basis as well as a daily basis. Let me turn off my noisemaker here, make sure we're not interrupting it. Okay. So let's check in, see who's joined us. Welcome, Terry. Known Terry for feels like ever. He's one of those folks that the Portland team would not be the same without. Thank you, Holly, for all that you are doing, along with Sharon, to keep these live streams functional, clean, and smooth, answering people's questions, dropping in links, switching from me to other people if they want to chat. It's not easy to run the back end, and they both do an amazing job. Welcome, Carolyn, coming in from Australia. Welcome, Russ, coming in from Sedona last time I checked. Welcome, Jocelyn. Jocelyn Sanchez. Not sure where Jocelyn's at, although I know the name. Welcome, Jane. She's from Oregon. Arlene coming in from the Philippines. Mwami, Toronto. Sandy P. I'm pretty sure Sandy's in the Oregon zone. Josie's over in Texas in my time zone. Welcome also Maria Fernanda Ducroix. I think Maria Fernanda Ducroix is actually Europe, but I could be wrong on that. So welcome all of you. Do reach out, tell your friends I'm here. I'm going to make a quick post on my own chat group, telling my own Wellspring of Light members that I'm here. Okay, done my part. So today, I was looking at the flyer that was talking about this, and I was actually very happy with the flyer and the verbiage that it said, because for me, it said things that I have strength in talking about. So I'm going to repeat those things so that you are on the same page. Bullet point 1, heal your money story and step into an abundance mindset. I'm going to come back to these. Step number 2, learn practical techniques to attract wealth and opportunity. And bullet point number 3, align your finances with your purpose and true calling. Awesome. Let's work with these one by one. Heal your money story and step into an abundance mindset. Okay, we all have heard the ideal of stepping into an abundance mindset, right? Raise your hand if you've tried the Think and Grow Rich and all those versions, and yet we're still kind of treading water. Our head's above water, hopefully, but it's still not been an easy to go. Almost entirely, this has to do with our money story. This is really huge to understand. There is wisdom that has been out there for thousands of years. It's been regurgitated, it's been restated. And in my own observation of my own processes of awakening and applying these wisdoms better and better each day, and my own observation of the blockages that I've witnessed with myself, but I'm pretty sure most of us have, it almost always boils down to our ability to digest the wisdom. Because it's not that we don't understand conceptually, visualize something and hope that we can have it. We understand it mentally and conceptually, but the application of it is typically what the problem is. And the deeper understandings, how can we get a deeper understanding? How come we can't simply apply our wisdoms? Let's see. There we go. How come we cannot just simply apply the things that we know on a constant basis? A lot of it has to do with the story. What does that mean? Well, there's laws in this universe. You've heard of the law of attraction. More recently, there's been a great deal of emphasis in teachings called the law of attention. And along with that wisdom is a very simple statement. What we place our attention upon grows. Now, most of us have heard something to that effect. It's not like it's a new piece of information to us. But here's where the rubber hits the road. What is your money story? Your money story, for most of us, is I have a belief that I have to work to get money. That's validated by my story, because in order to have had money my whole life, I have had to work. I've had to work hard. It takes hard work to make money. This is part of the story. What else is our story? Speaking with someone just yesterday, I wish I would have made a different choice with the land that I had back when I was 30 years old. I sold it, and if I'd have kept it, then I would have been comfortable financially today. What's another story? I shouldn't have quit that job. If I had stayed in that job, I would have been safe and good to go. So you can look back at your history and find these stories, and they all have one thing in common for all of us. They're in a place called the past. And then we have other parts of our story. And again, coming full circle, these have to do specifically with the law of attention. Because what we place our attention upon grows. And our story is built on the past. And the vast majority of us, myself included, find it difficult to remain in the present without any portion of the past and the stories associated with money coming into our present. Case in point, when you go to your mailbox and you get another bill from the phone company or the credit card company, or you go to your email and you have that looming thing gnawing at you that needs to get paid. So every time we have something that requires a payment towards it, it drums up more of the story. Because last month we had that same bill, and the month we had the same bill, and maybe last month you put a little extra emphasis on how unhappy you were with that credit card bill. And so what does that do? That exacerbates and enhances and expands what? What does it expand? It expands what you're placing your attention upon, because what you place your attention upon grows. So what you place your attention upon today becomes your tomorrow. It's a very simple piece of math. And I can state this every 5 minutes to you. I can send you an email every 5 minutes. I can send you a text every 5 minutes. What you place your attention upon grows. And you're probably going to get irritated because I'm jerking your attention away from something that you're stressed about, something you need to get done. What we place our attention upon is key. 98% of the time, I can confidently say that. 98% of the time, we place our attention upon the past or the future. And because our attention is placed upon something from the past, the story, what's on the future? What's in our future? We don't know. But in our mind, in this moment, much of what takes up the space of our brain, if we're not in the past, pulling something into the now? Fear. How am I? How am I what? Fill in the blank. Worries about what? Anything, fill in the blank. Doubts, is it going to work? I did my manifestation technique, I traced, the money's still not here, is it going to work? What is your attention upon? So when we place our attention upon future-paced things, especially if those future-paced things enhance fear, worry, doubt, concern, depression, name the emotion, fill in the blank, then what you place your attention upon grows. Your present moment is really your solution for bullet point number 1, because your story is unique to you. And almost all of us love to avail others of our story. We love to whine and complain about how difficult it's been, what we've been doing and trying, and how it's so hard to get ahead. Just saying those words, it's so hard to get ahead. Do you realize that you're spelling yourself? You're literally putting a negative spell on yourself because your words are your story. Your words are your present statement to the universe. My teacher, Master Sha, he understands all of this. And in training with, directly with God, training with all of these grand masters, you connect to source at an extremely high level. What does exactly that mean? Basically, that means that we all came from the same source. We're all a small sun within the bigger sun. I was reading a book to my daughter for bed tonight, and it was said, "Who am I?" That was the title of the book, "Who am I?" And it was, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 pages. Who am I? Who are you? Am I you? Are you me? And it went back and forth for 20 pages. And at the end, it showed a picture of two people. And like, the circles that cross over, it has that one little crossover point. Well, that crossover point was the eye. The eye. One eye, two people, two outer eyes, one inner eye that crossed over. And in the middle of that eye was a star. That was the cover, and that was the last page. And they didn't actually tell you what it was. What was the purpose of that story? We are all one with source. So you are a small sun within a big sun. And you, that is your story. You come here, you work hard, blah, blah, blah. What relevance does your story have to now? Does it have any relevance to now? Because from the perspective of the small sun that is part of a big sun means, and you've heard all the great masters tell you this, that you can do what I can do and more, right? The way through the Father is through me. However they say it, what they're saying is do what I do. Hold love in your heart. Hold compassion in your heart. Forgiveness. Master Sha teaches the 10 Das. Source, God, Tao, whatever you want to call the creator, blessed Master Sha with the ability to remove what? A lot of people will say karma. I would say no. The ability to remove stories, experiences that we individually have labeled as bad. So those experiences, they remain in our vibration, and we enhance those vibrations by continuing to put attention upon them, thereby making it our tomorrow again and again and again. Does that sound fruitful for what you want to accomplish? It's like going into the basement of a building you used to go to 12 years ago when you had that unpleasant experience. And that experience is in the basement, in a filing cabinet, in the bottom of the basement, drawer number 4, file number 12. And you go back to that old story and pull it out, walk back upstairs, throw it in your desk and say, I'm going to put attention on this. Yeehaw. How foolish is that? Why do we do that? Because we have not been taught the singular truth. The singular truth is that you are creating in every moment. You are a sun, a small sun within a big sun. And because you are a speck of source, because you are a piece of God, because you are a human piece of God, you have been endowed with a very unique quality and characteristic, which is the ability to co-create with the source, meaning the ability to tell source what you would like to experience. That's what that means. Co-creation means me and source are going to co-create an experience. We have not been told the truth, in essence, that we have been creating before we arrived. The moment of birth we've been creating up to this moment, we will create from this moment until we leave this body and the body becomes worm food. And our soul, from the moment we cross over, will start creating again. So it never stops creating. But in this dense experience, that creation becomes slowed down. And so we want to recognize that the past and the future represent a timeline, if you will. And we continually forget that A, we are a creator, and B, that it's the present moment that impacts our future. So the story is very important to understand. And if we are to rewrite our preferred vibration moving forward, then we want to be conscious of the now. It's easy said, and it takes a little while to be more and more present. Because what you'll discover, one of the things I stated about 10 minutes ago, is that as we move through each day, we have responsibilities, right? We have tasks, we have things we need to focus on, we have places we have to drive, we have to be present when we drive, right? There are things. The bills still arrive, those don't go away, right? We still have that whiny sister or brother. We still have that mom and dad that's always on our case about something for the last 40 years, and we can't turn off that switch. The question becomes, do we want to place attention on those little things? Because every single one of them, visualizes every single one of those has the ability to hook onto your nose and pull you towards it. And if you're not paying attention, that pull might not be positive. That pull might take you to the past or to the future. It might be unintentional, where you're reminded of something. If you actually truly are paying attention, you could see the color red on somebody, and it could remind you that your ex-partner wore red the day they broke up with you, and that could remind you of the hell that you went through for 20 years, and blah, 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 and you're back in your story, all because you saw the color red. You see how insidious it can be? So being present is not as easy as it sounds sometimes. But the good news is Master Sha has delivered to us tools to help us to be present. What are those tools? Well, they're behind me. They're called Tao Calligraphy. So what does it do? It removes the story. Tao Calligraphy helps to wash away those things. Like if you do a forgiveness practice around that experience with that ex-partner, because you are present enough to see that, oh my God, I'm like 10 minutes into going, woe is me, poor me, blah, 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 blah. And I caught myself. Where did that originate? Okay, you back up. Okay, how did I get there? I got there because I thought of that person wearing the red. Oh my God, I saw red and it took me here and it took me here. And now it's on this story looping for 10 minutes. I am going to do forgiveness around this piece of information that's in my vibration. And I'm going to wash it out. I'm going to forgive myself. Very important, make notes. I'm going to forgive myself for holding on to this old story, which is what? It's that It's that piece, that snapshot of time that was stuck in the filing cabinet 4 stories down in the fourth drawer at the bottom of the cabinet, way over there 20 years ago. Okay. So you forgive yourself for going back 20 years and dragging into your present moment. It was almost, uh, uh, you didn't even know how you got there, because that's the nature of the cobwebs of our experiences. They remain in our vibration. It's just like this never-ending cobweb. But the present moment is like, shooting from your wrist, Spider-Man, right? Every time your attention goes any place that you don't want it to be, you're spreading that cobweb where you don't want it to go. So you want to be present. And so when you catch yourself popping out of the present to a past, or popping into the future to a fear, a worry, or a doubt, step one, I forgive myself for not paying more attention and giving this doubt my attention. I forgive myself for not for looping for 10 minutes and enhancing this unpleasant message. Step two, forgive whoever else might be associated with that. Okay, because those are simply spider webs that inhibit us. The ability to manifest, the ability to shift our consciousness to have more wealth come to us is equal to, there's a better word, but equal to, commensurate, that's the word I'm looking for, commensurate to the amount of light that we're holding. And our band of light, generally speaking, think of it like a coffee straw. It's much smaller than a regular drink straw, right? The little coffee straw is a little hole down the middle, right? So vast majority of us, that's the amount of light coming through us. Why? Because where that light comes through, that's the present moment. Why is that the present moment? Because that's all there is. And so when we spend time in the past and time in the future, the light simply can't come in. When we start being present, we meditate, we be present. We do gratitude, coming up very soon. We do forgiveness. We hold the consciousness of light. That straw becomes bigger. It becomes more like a household hose, like a hose at the house, then a fire hose, and so forth. What is Master Sha doing? He's giving us the tools to widen that hose. What does that mean for you and me? That means we have more power to create with. That's what that means. Okay? So you are in control of how much power you have to create with. When you waste your power shooting your spiderwebs to the past, shooting your spiderwebs to the future, empowering those, when you do not observe them and dissolve them using the toolkits that are made available to us, you are still keeping your hose kinked. Right? So you're responsible for that. No one else, only you. When you blame someone else, you're kinking your hose. Don't take responsibility, you're kinking your hose. You get caught up in negative news, you're kinking your hose. You get caught. One of the first things I did when I started learning this wisdom is I literally spent about a half hour turning off everything that went beep on my phone. All the social media things, X, Twitter, used to be Twitter, TikTok feeds, all of that stuff. If it wasn't necessarily relevant to what I'm trying to accomplish, it was dragging me away. It was one of those, yay, the nose rings, right? I consciously, purposely started paying attention to those things that I would, how many times did I pick up the phone? My God, when you start paying attention, you realize it's an astounding amount. Why? Why do we do things that are not supportive of holding the intention of our desired wealth? Why do we do just about anything except hold the intention of our desired wealth? I'll tell you why. Pay attention. This is important. Because of this thing inside the skull. You are not your mind. Does your mind know what enlightenment is? Does your mind know how to get you there? Does your mind know anything that is new to you today? Did it know any of that? It might have known some of it. Why? Because you had heard it before. The mind is basically a hard drive. It was blank when you arrived. There was a vibration around it, which loosely speaking is your karmic vibration, all your experiences. And those experiences are on your soul. And so when you arrive, those experiences is what predicted, if you will, your parents and loosely your series of events that would happen throughout this life, very loosely, okay? But your mind, your brain, it's literally just a recording device. And that's why you have trouble staying in the present. That's why you go here and here, anything except presence, because your mind says, I gotta have something to keep me busy, because it doesn't know what to do with silence. It doesn't know what to do with emptiness. It doesn't know what to do with nothingness. And it drives the mind crazy. It will do anything to stay busy. So who is the boss? Mind? For the vast majority of us, yes. The mind is the puppet master, and we're going, okay, I'll go to this nose ring. Okay, I'm going to have fear. Yay. Where else do you want me to go? Oh, you want me to go to the past, Mr. Mind? Yeah. So you are currently the puppet at the end of the puppet strings of the mind. It is not your friend. You need to make it your subservient through presence. And you dissolve the different ways that puppet strings you along by using the techniques and wisdoms that Master Sha has provided us. Okay? So the first and one of the most important calligraphies is called Da Gan Un, the greatest gratitude. Why? Simply put, when we are stuck in our story, stuck in our mind, stuck in our emotions, stuck in our suffering, the one place we are not is in truth. Because in truth, we are a small sun within a bigger sun. In truth, we are a soul who is here before, during, and after this experience. The soul is what is forever. This, temporary. So as we move into the present, as we start operating in the present, we start witnessing the mind instead of being the puppet of the mind. We start choosing in the present moment to be what? Grateful. Oh, but I haven't had things to be grateful for. I don't know what to be grateful for. Okay? Anything you can be grateful for, it doesn't matter. It's a vibration. The mind is what says, I don't know what to be. That's the mind. Okay? Anytime you hear the word how, what, when, anytime, basically anything, any thought means that this guy is trying to sustain control. Presence is choosing what you place your attention upon, period. A master places their attention upon what they desire, and they don't take their attention off it. Now, at first, for me anyway, and I'm guessing for you, that sounds like, well, but I gotta work, and I gotta drive the kid to school, and I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and right? So how do you not take your mind off it? The process is more a recognition that this is what all my thoughts, every word that I say will be towards that end result. Every action that I make will be towards that end result. I can literally say I'm driving to go get groceries, and that is going to assist my wealth. I can say that, and that can be my truth. Because why? Because what I place my attention upon becomes my experience. What I place my attention upon grows. So I can be pounding away at the keyboard for social media, and I can be like, this doesn't actually work. This is actually, all of this is leaning towards that goal that I've already placed my attention upon. So it allows us to let go of the how and the when, which are both mind-based things. So the toolkit of gratitude is so very important. So when we catch ourselves in the past or in the future, do a quick forgiveness practice, and then look for anything that you can be grateful for. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm grateful that I'm sitting in the chair, that my back hurts less. Okay, why not? I'm grateful that when I get up, that I can walk to the fridge and not fall over. It doesn't matter what. It's about sustaining a vibration. Why do you think God gave Master Sha those 10 qualities? I got the insight about 4 or 5 months ago, and then it kind of slipped away, and then it came back more recently with a real solid, because we have to have something to place our attention upon. What he didn't, he wasn't able to get across to his students in a way that we can really chew on the bone with, because of the separation of English and Mandarin Chinese, was that the purpose of the calligraphies and everything he provides us with is to remove everything in past and future so we can be present, and in that presence expand those preferred qualities. Right. Let's work first with gratitude. You should see on your screen coming up here, Da Gan Un. What we're going to do is we're going to ask the Da Gan Un field and all of the light, the beings of love and light serving through this field, to assist us to removing from our past and future consciousness, the brain, the field that anything that keeps us away from gratitude. We're going to ask it to remove that, okay? And we're going to ask it to enhance our gratitude. So we are going to exponentially enhance this. One of the things that all of you who are familiar with the wisdom and teachings of Master Sha should be doing is never just trace. Always include all of your light bulbs transmissions and blessings from that you've ever received. Why? Because there is only now. What does that mean? Now is what you choose it to be. And if you said, for example, every light bulb and healing transmission that I have, please turn on. Okay, now they do. If you say, all the blessings I've ever received that is designed to assist me in my enlightenment and healing journey, please return to me now. What does that do? It returns all of those to you in this moment. If you say, all of my light bulbs, even those not associated with gratitude, please turn on in whatever way is appropriate, bring more light to this request. What does that do? It brings more light to the request. So remember, always activate all your blessings you've ever received, even if it was 20 years ago. Activate all your light bulbs. If you have in your field, like I do, calligraphies, even one, even if you're not at home, Master Sha's top teachers, they're out on the road, they're in a hotel, they cannot bring 20 calligraphies and 20 Fa Chis with them. What do? Dear the soul of my calligraphies, my Fa Chis, please come to me now as I meditate. Are they there? Absolutely. So distance and time are irrelevant. What is relevant is the most light possible for what you're trying to accomplish. Got it? Okay, let's practice. Repeat after me. Dear the soul of every transmission I've ever received, every blessing I've ever received from Master Sha, any of his teachers,
So much
or
pain.
myself, I love, honor, and appreciate you. Could you please come to me now? Could you please bless my practice? And to the soul of Da Gan Un, the countless blessings of love and light, the beings, heavenly beings serving through this source field, could you please bless me? And dear all my light bulbs, downloads, and treasures, transmissions, please turn on. Could you all please collectively work in harmony to remove from my vibration anything that would keep me from having gratitude more and more in every moment? Could you also please enhance my remembering of having gratitude more and more in every moment? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay? I spent more time activating everything. The request was actually quite simple. Help me to remove this, help me to add this, right? That's pretty, it should be just about that simple when you make a request. And then what do? Let us trace. For those new, we go around 3 times and then follow down in following the lines as best we can. Let us begin. Seeing light coming into your heart center and expanding out, releasing from your vibration any negative messages. Da Gan Un, Dagan 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 For those of you that are sensitive, you may instantly notice a shift in the field. I can instantly feel my crown chakra light up. So what is heaven doing? They're widening the straw, right? We want the straw widened. We want to have more of that coming in. How much time is wasted in fear? What relevance does it have? Why in the world would I want to place any attention upon that vibration? But we do. Why? Because we don't know better. Why would I want to place any attention upon that sister-in-law that did ABC to me, to that person that did ABC to me? Why would I want to place any attention upon any of that? You know, as a dad of a young child, so glad I didn't start earlier. My goodness, I would have made so many mistakes. Still make a bunch of them. But just in the last couple of weeks, applying this wisdom of being present, I have noticed a remarkable difference in my child's reactions and responses. Why? Because my reactions and responses got dramatically toned down. Why? Because I was present to the triggers. I was present to, she did or said something, and then I watched the mind, not my friend, I watched the mind want to jump into a posture, a defensive posture, I'm older, so you're supposed to do what I say posture, whatever it is, right? It's just programmed stuff. You have that, I have that, we all have this. And you must, a million times must. How many times? A million times. You must witness the reactions, because if you enhance that response or reaction, whether it's a silent in your mind response or reaction, whether it's an out loud, spelling yourself negative reaction, doesn't matter what it is. If you enhance that, that becomes your output. That becomes more of what you don't want tomorrow, unless it's something good. So by consciously pausing, consciously choosing to not react and respond based on the mind's programming, and by consciously choosing love, light, forgiveness. What did the 10 Da Master Sha has been trying to teach us? By consciously practicing gratitude for my beloved 5-year-old, by consciously practicing harmony, by consciously practicing humility, which is what? Not reacting from an ego. So Master Sha gave us the 10 Da qualities, which are literally what we fill our present moment with when we catch ourselves out of alignment with what would be our preferred consciousness. So we ask the gratitude Buddha, saints, heavenly beings of love and light, bless us to witness more and more in every moment our mind-based reactions, responses. Witness them from a place of presence, love, and compassion. Forgive ourselves, applying the 10 Da quality. Forgive others, they know not what they do. Bless us to choose light and harmony and humility. Bless us to word or react or respond in a way that benefits all involved and blesses my tomorrow. What blocks flourishing, guys? What blocks it? We do. Point your finger at yourself and do not guilt yourself or shame yourself, but take responsibility. We block ourselves, and we can unblock ourselves by widening the straw, by presence. Gratitude is kind of like ensuring that that straw remains open. That's what it does. And then as your straw remains open, heaven, your heaven's team, guess what they're trying to bring to you? They're trying to bring to you your preferred vibration. They're trying to bring to you your request. As long as you don't interrupt that request with doubts, as long as you don't interrupt that request with fear, as long as you don't interrupt that request with worry, then heaven can bring it to you. So, but one of the dilemmas is the brain wants to know, well, how's it going to come? When's it going to come? Brain wants to know this stuff. The brain is not your friend. Remember, you need to tell the brain what to think. What are you going to tell it to think? Gratitude. Any of the 10 dot qualities work perfectly well as placeholders for that monkey mind that needs something to pontificate on. So as you're giving that brain something to do, in this case, gratitude, you can also enhance your preferred and positive vibration. And as that straw remains wide or wider through the gratitude, your heaven's team who has been trying to slip you a very specific insight for the last 2 weeks, but you've been blocking it through doubts, fears, worries, blah, blah, blah. Now that insight comes down the straw and you get, ding, I need to go over here. And because you're not operating out of the mind, you say, okay, and you go over here. And when you go over there, you're almost like, I don't even know why I'm here. And then somebody strikes up a conversation with you. And as you're chatting with them, they say, oh, I've got this pain in my knee. And you listen to them and you validate what they're going through. You say, you know, I might have something that can help you. I've done this and this and that to help others. Da, 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 da. If it's something you're interested in, you know, it's only a small fee. Matter of fact, if you don't have any result, that's okay. But this is what it normally is. And I work on, you know, honor fee. And this is an example. Let's say that you're wanting to get a new place to live. Okay, you're tired of your old place and you have no idea how it's going to happen, but you're doing your job. You're holding the vision. You're not driving the doubts, fears, worries. You're being grateful. Your straw is remaining open. And once again, heaven gives you an insight. And so you follow the insight. And as you follow the insight, 1 or 2 or 3 interesting events that happen when you follow your insights. And it leads to the ideal place or the ideal person who brings you to that ideal place. Heaven is literally delivering to you your request at all times. We either are blocking it or our straw is not wide enough to receive those intuitional insights, those guidances that assist us in making the choices that move us towards what heaven is trying to co-create on your behalf. So this wisdom is for most of us, it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get it. And then what's going to happen? We'll lose it, right? So that's why you want to record this. That's why you want to listen again. That's why you want to take bullet notes. That's why you want to practice on a daily basis. That's why you want to trace the calligraphies. You know, please help me to instill this into my wisdom, remove from my Shen Qi Jing, my vibration, all that gets in the way of not remembering this and applying this in my life. And as you trace away those blockages, it will be easier to sustain and hold these truths. There is one truth that is the most important to absolutely memorize. Put it on all your mirrors, all your doors, everywhere until you're living it. And that simple statement is, what I place my attention upon grows. If you can just keep that one at the forefront of your mind, you will become a conscious, awakened creator of your experience. And what you place your attention upon will definitely become more and more positive. Might take a little while, but it'll definitely become more and more positive. It'll definitely become more and more sustained. And that sustainment is what will create a much better tomorrow. And this is where, you know, it's not about patience, because it's you. It's not God. It's not somebody outside of you. It's not the job. It's not the sister-in-law. It's not the parent. It's none of that bullshit. It's you. So take responsibility. Do your part. Hold the vibration. Be present. Be joyful. Be grateful. And let go of that story and realize that you are a conscious creator. You're not special. Nobody's more special than you. Nobody's unspecial. Everyone's got their story. Finish tracing this calligraphy. And we're all going to get to the, to the finish line, but not necessarily all together. The Kuan Yins of the world, the Jesuses of the world finish the calligraphy. The Buddhas of the world, the great wisdom teachers of the world basically have taught this in their own language, in their own time, at those times. And unfortunately, it kind of gets transposed through human to human to human. Okay? But ultimately, we're in a space and a time here on Mother Earth where these wisdoms are coming around, fortunately, much more clearly. They're tangible, we can chew on them, we can actually work with them. And we've been so blessed to have Master Sha's calligraphies available to us. Okay? If you don't have things like what I have behind me, you can purchase individual cards. They're about $75. And if you don't have that, you can go and purchase these books, which are basically $12 or $13 each. Greatest Forgiveness and Greatest Love. And you have 2 calligraphies in there. You can say, well, Paul, I want to do gratitude. You're the soul of the greatest love calligraphy. All my downloads treasures, every blessing I've ever received, all my healing transmissions, calligraphies, and the greatest love calligraphy. Please all activate now. Bless me to increase my gratitude. Why not? It's about using all the light to accomplish your individual request. So don't square your head about, I don't have this, all that stuff. It's just stuff. Okay, that's the brain trying to maintain its control. You are the decider of you define, it's a better way of saying it. You define your belief. Master Sha, to wrap up, he says, remove your mindset, your attitudes, your beliefs. What's a mindset? I have to work to get ahead. That's a mindset. What's an attitude? Life is so hard. Okay? You have to pay attention to those things. They are not serving your creation. As a co-creator, literally pay attention. No one is deciding for you. No one is deciding for you. Well, yeah, but political this and Trump that and blah, blah, blah. Story. You decide. You place your attention on what you decide. You can redefine anything to serve you. It's not that this wisdom isn't important and good. I mean, I've stated it 100 times, but I still end up, not framing things properly. Nevertheless, this is a truth. No matter what occurs, you can frame it as this is serving me. That's an advanced technique. But if you can place it into every moment, no matter what comes at you, I don't know how this is serving me, but I absolutely know it's bringing about my desired intention. That is an example of a master never takes his mind off his desired intention. A master never takes his mind off what they want to create. Doesn't matter what shows up in your world, it's serving you. And when you hold that vibration, that's what it's doing. It's serving you. In the meantime, you're just keeping yourself in your 10 Da qualities as much as you can, keeping yourself as present as possible, widening that straw. The insights will flow, the direction to go will flow. The I don't know what I'm going to do, which is the brain, goes away and you receive that answer. So the ease is about being present. The dis-ease is about being stuck in the past, the future, or the story. Okay. I hope you got some value out of this, how to apply the wisdom and techniques that Master Sha has brought to us to better your world. If you have any questions that you need some clarity on, the first thing I'm going to say to you is, if it starts with yeah, but, that's the mind. That's the mind wanting to have an answer. That's the mind wanting to have a space fulfilled. Okay, remember that. The mind always wants to fill that gap. It is not comfortable with presence and emptiness and simpleness and you. So it will continue to commandeer your moments. The mind will continue to take over your moments until you choose what to tell your mind to focus on. And that includes your desired preferred intention. Got it? Okay. You can open the lines for questions if you have any. Glad to see there's 21 people here. Okay. Somebody please talk. I don't like the spotlight on me the whole time.
Paul, I'd like to share something.
Yeah, go ahead, Josie.
It's Paula, actually. Oh, Josie
Sorry,
has her
bud.
hand up. Go ahead, Josie.
Uh, Thank you. I just had a quick question, Paul. I've never heard it that way. You said the calligraphy's clear. Did you say information? I didn't write that down. You
Yeah, that's in essence what they do.
okay?
Experiences, okay? Because
Experiences.
uh, all of our incarnations, if you will, the only thing that goes forward when this body becomes worm food is the experiences, right? It is we who have judged them as positive and negative. Remember, we are part of Source. Source does not say, hmm, that that little soul over there that I created is a bad soul. That's like saying, I don't like my left arm, but I love my right arm. Source created all souls for what purpose? For the purpose of experiencing what Source is. Source can know it's omnipotent and all and everything, but knowing is not experiencing. Knowing how to change brakes on a car because you watch the YouTube video is not the same as actually doing it. That's called experience. You go in there and do what the YouTube video says, and wrist your hand and break the brake, and it costs you $500. Knowing is different than experience. So what Source do? Created all creation, all souls. We are one point of experience. We are an aspect of Source experiencing all that Source created. So everything is an experience. It is you and I that judge it as positive and negative. Source does not. For Source, it's just experience.
Hmm.
So when we are here having this experience, it is imperative that we don't judge anything from the past. That's what forgiveness is about. We don't judge shame or guilt. That was stuff that's mind based. That's stuff that's programmed based. That has nothing to do with our true nature. It's just that we've adopted and accepted as true simply because we haven't been taught anything different. But we're much more awake. We can say, yeah, I'm not going to buy into that BS. That was all programmed stuff. That was all stuff that I didn't know any better. And it's also snapshots from the past from that drawer four stories down. So yeah, I'm going to leave that back there where it's at because it has no relevance to me. It's just experience. I'm going to trace these vibrations away from my field, choose these 10 dot qualities and enhance those while I'm moving forward in life. And when I do that enough, my tomorrow will start to look much better.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Good. Anyone else?
Paula, you go ahead first, then I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to share, Paul, I had the same experience, or very similar experience that you had with Elise, that I go to work and a couple of weeks ago realized that I was just going in prepared for battle. I have issues with my boss. He pushes my buttons like nobody's business. And I noticed this tenseness and this ready to fight, blah blah blah. And so then the next what it morphed into was me being able to just step back and witness it and realize, he's the guy that's got so much invested in this, and this is his life, and this is his identity. And me, I've just shown up to play my part as Paula, the ace hardware person. I'm my time there is limited. It's not my forever gig, and I'm just there to make the best of it, to have the experience.
So
So
I want to just pause for a moment so everyone hears one thing and then come back and don't lose that, Paula. But I want everyone to hear she placed herself in a position to witness it instead of reacting and responding from the mind. Go ahead, Paula.
I lost it. because I was like, well, I wanted it to talk about what you were just saying. Now it's just
Go ahead and tell us
okay.
about.
The button pushing thing. So the last few occasions I've come in with that. Okay, I'm just here to play my part. What's gonna happen today? What kind of adventure are we gonna have? And I just let him do what he's gonna do, knowing that he's gonna say what he's gonna say, and I have the choice to just not buy into it. You know, he's gonna do what he's got to do, and I am just there to make the best of everything. Raise the vibration of those around me, those I come in contact with. It's really cool. So thank you so much.
In many
And
ways, is it an empowering?
oh my gosh, totally. And it's interesting when I am with people who are so where I used to be. You know, this
Yeah.
this is my life, this is my existence. There is no, I have no other choices. We all have choices. And so Master Shah's teachings brought me to this point, and now I'm going to this like that I'm just here to experience.
Yeah. Here to enjoy yourself. Good.
And that
Great
is so
thing.
freeing and so empowering. And this is what my life of can't think of the word, abandonment. You know, that's been my big issue all these years, and with so much sadness and so much grief out of all of these people, my friends, my loved ones who have all abandoned me. And I, it has completely and totally set me up for where I am now, because I'm not connected. I can float anywhere I want to. I don't know. It's just
This is the side effect of unrestricting the straw. The straw is restricted because of the story. And so
exactly.
Paula's been attending my Wellspring of Light programs where I've been touching on this on a daily basis. Well, almost every day. Don't want to inundate them too much, but it's slowly seeping in, and she's been applying it. This is just an experience. Why am I placing this attachment to it? Let me just be with it. So it's different than I'm just going to put up with this guy. That's what we do, but that's still stressful. Like, and she's just like, huh, that's who he is. That's who I am. I'm going to witness, and it puts us in a strength position, and she's happier for it. Hopefully I'm paraphrasing that correctly, Paula.
Absolutely.
Awesome. You want to tell them about the car you manifested?
I manifested a car. um and I had been putting out this vibe for a few years. I've been without a car for a year and a half now. That kind of spiritually reaching out, someone who child went off to school, lost a spouse for whatever reason. They have a car in their garage that they're just not using, and they've held on to it because you just never know. But it's been 5 years, it's been 10 years, and it's time to let this vehicle move on. And so, like, expecting something like that, or actually all I was doing then was hoping something like that would come into my life. It was an intent, but I wasn't putting any real strength, any work into it, because I didn't know how to do that. Then just recently I just got really focused, and I would write paragraphs about how the car just showed up at work today. A title and a year's insurance, an anonymous note saying, I've seen you make others smile so many times, and I was one of them. Now I get to give back to you. And so it would just like get that vibration up. And one day I told my friend Kathy, who has been loaning me her car for the last, this is it. This tomorrow, it's gonna happen. The car is coming tomorrow. Car didn't come tomorrow, but within a month, I got a text from a friend of mine who said, "Hey, are you still looking for a car? A friend of mine is selling a 2009 Subaru Legacy, 71,000. Actually, she thought 79,000 miles, wanting $2,000 for it." I said, yes, I'm interested. I'll come see it after work. And so when I got there, it's as if these two women had already discussed that I would have the car. They ushered me into it. We went for a test drive. Oh gosh, the air conditioner isn't working, blah, blah, blah. Okay, instead of 2,000, she'll take 1,200. No money down, easy payments whenever I can make them. This was just crazy. And the situation was she's just disabled. The car's just been sitting there and it's time for it to move on to a new person. And someone came into her life and that person brought it into my life and the universe just made it happen. And okay, so this is the really good part. Well, no, that was the really good part, obviously. But just like within 24 hours of that, I put out, wow, I'm gonna need some extra cash because I've gotta have insurance, and because I haven't been insured for a while, it's gonna cost more than usual. I'm gonna need this, I'm gonna need this money for the car. And then within that, and the next 24 hours, I got an offer from one of my former pet clients. Well, I had texted everybody that I got a car. And he responded and he said, Paula, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I would be happy to give you $600 towards your car now for $600 of $100 a night pet sitting for $600 worth. Like, here's the money, and I don't need you for another month, but what do you think? And it was just amazing. Like, boom, boom, car, money. It was like magic.
Thank you, Paula. Brilliant. Good share.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Now I'm just sharing the wisdom. The key is that Paula applied it, and it takes a little while to break down the patterns, right? Because we're rewriting the script. We're letting go of the old, and we're choosing now and holding a preferred vibration. It takes a little practice, but it works. We're rewriting our tomorrow. Russ, go ahead.
Well, listen, there's very little I can say tonight about what you said other than keep talking, but we don't have time right now. But first of all, next week we are going to continue talking about finances and those things that get in the way, and you saying, you know what, it's actually you. Take responsibility. Don't damn yourself. Don't come up with all the self-judgments, but it is actually our responsibility to make the shifts. The one thing that you mentioned that is so important is that, yes, we are all fractals of the divine, and here we are experiencing life. Well, that is the reason why things get stuck in our field. The negative information, those vibrations, they are so painful, we avoid them. And that avoidance creates a contraction that actually traps it. And until you're willing to actually go in and experience fully the pain, the threat, the dishonor, the fear, the shame. Those are things to be experienced. And the strength that comes out of those ends up as manifestations because it's those negative vibrations we have refused to look at that keep us from manifesting, that keep us from doing exactly what you're talking about. And I think you and I are completely on the same page in lots and lots of ways. We may have a different verbiage, but next week, let's all join again because this whole month is an astounding month. There's nothing in our society that society defines us more clearly than how successfully are we in our abundance moves. Do we judge ourselves? We allow family to judge us when in fact it's other things. We'll talk about all those other things. But Paul, thank you. What a brilliant, brilliant portrayal of the basics of all of this stuff.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I will finish by inviting you to try a free month in my Wellspring of Light program. I say free month? No, it's half off. So basically there's a couple different layers, but it includes a consultation with me, either 15 or a 30-minute consultation. That alone's worth, $75 or $120. And the programs are respectively 75 and 120. So there's a bigger program, but basically those are the first two levels. And so you get a consult with me, and you get 30 days of this kind of applied wisdom, tracing, calligraphies, many of the good things. I do healing for all of the Wellspring Light members every day. So go to the website, check it out. If you've enjoyed this, I do sustain this consciousness in the presentations. We're literally doing something every day of the week to clear the clutter, be present, create what we want to create. Okay, so we went over the hour. I hope you've enjoyed this. We'll do what we can to get the recordings out probably tomorrow. And until then, have an amazing day. Remember, what's the one thing you remember from all of this? What you place your attention upon grows. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night, Paul.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much, Paul.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Adios.
Paul, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.